Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the video. There have been crew changes and equipment changes to boot, and players are asking me, what do I do? What are the best crew skills? What should I have on each tank? And right now, there are only a few crew skills that you need on each tank. After that, it is all preference, which is amazing. That's how it should have been. But one of the big things that has changed is the fact that so many tanks have lost a ton of camouflage. You don't have as much as you used to have, at least after 6.0. From 6.0, which is from December of 2020 up until 1 week ago, you had absurd amounts of camouflage. You don't have that anymore. That has been removed, which I think is amazing. I'm loving the changes. Light tanks are more powerful than ever, and that's because you don't have people who don't know how to play light tanks just throwing on camouflage and driving around like maniacs and out spotting you, or you not able to spot them because of camouflage. That's not how it works anymore. Now, for you to actually have camouflage, you have to understand mechanics. You have to understand view range. You have to understand how bushes work. And now the argument is not all bushes on console work. While that is true, you learn which ones do. And bushes do work, just not as well as on PC. And so you kind of have to go back to how things were played before. And if you know what you're doing in your light tanks, then you're gonna, this is a buff for you. If you truly know how to play a light tank, this is a buff. My cat just clawed my leg and I'm not happy. Okay, ow. Moving on, let's talk about crew skills and such. What are the best ones to have? Well, we have a patent here and I don't think I have a crew on it yet since the change, and equipment. So let's throw a commander into our patent. And maybe I do have a crew for it. I don't think I do, unless it is my T-54E1. It is. It's this guy. Okay, well, we're going to sign him anyway and move on. We're going to move on to the chisel, which is basically a patent. And let's talk about it now. Okay, here are the skills that have not changed on the commander. We have Born Leader, we have Snapshot, we have Run and Gun, we have Situation Awareness, we have Comms Expert, and we have Dynamic Driving. Comms Expert was the crew skill that allowed you to spot people for 3 seconds longer. Eagle Eye, which I had on quite a few of my tanks, I think is what it was called. It was something of the sort. And that's why I have it here already. But basically it's really good. 3 seconds increases the duration of targeted enemies' detection time. So now you're spotting them for 13 seconds. Okay, so that's really cool. But let's jump into what else you can throw on your tank. Expert Gunner has been something that I've been throwing on all my tanks recently. It 6% increase the chance of damaging enemy crews and modules with non-HE shells. This is incredible. So this just means, so if you hit the gun, somebody's gun, there is a 33% chance. I'm using gun as an example. There's a 33% chance that you damage it in the game. So if you just straight up shoot somebody in the gun, there's a 33% chance of damaging it. With this crew skill, it is a 39% chance. If your shell passes through an ammo rack, there is a 25% chance that you damage it. 25%. So with this, it is now a 31% chance that you damage it. So you're getting a lot more internal module damages, crew damages, stuff like that. So that is why I like to have it. And they combined it. 25% decrease to the effect that distance has on shell penetration. That's amazing as well. It doesn't do anything to heat, because heat doesn't lose penetration. But we're going to throw that on there. Another thing I like to have on my light tanks, maybe I won't have it on this one, is this crew skill here. Radio jamming decreases the time spotted by enemies by 3 seconds. Very important to have on your light tanks. Basically, now you're only spotted for 7 seconds. It's 10 seconds if somebody spots you with Comms Expert. It offsets, but if they're not spotting you with that, you disappear after just 7 seconds, which is incredible. You also have Camouflage Expertise. It tells you exactly now, 7.5% increase to the vehicle's camouflage factor. Green Thumb, 10% increase to the vehicle's camouflage factor when in foliage. Supply Conservation, you have Armor Angling, you have all these crew skills, right? And so make sure you go through and you decide what you want. For my chisel, we are going to go with Final Stand. Okay, Final Stand, 25% increase to the crew performance and 15% to the gun reload speed when under 10%. I really like that. I think that's great. And we're also going to go with some camouflage. I think camouflage is still important. It's good to have. It helps me outspot tanks. Like if I'm going up against another chisel, I want to be able to outspot him. This will help me with that. And so I am going to throw that on my chisel. And now for equipment, You have 4 slots now. And camouflage is not as good. Advanced concealment slightly reduces tank detectability. Active all times does not stack with camouflage net. Slightly, okay? Is it worth using now? Yes, it is. Okay, it is still worth using. You lose some camouflage from, you know, like what you used to have a week ago. You do lose some, but it is still worth having, because instead of you being able to get 300 meters from the enemy and them not spotting you while you're moving, now it's more like 380. And that is like, oh, what a nerf. It's 380 meters. You can still get, you know, fairly close to them without being spotted. You just now have to understand and learn what that distance is. So there's a curve here that you have to learn. And so I am going to throw that on here. And I'm also going to drop vents and throw on coated optics. So now I am more of a brawling tank. And now take a look. My still concealment while standing still is still 319. While moving, it's 342. That's still incredible. I have 342 meters still moving concealment. Now, I wish they listed here your camouflage percentages, because this moving and detectability, it doesn't mean squat, because what kind of view range are you going up against? You know, that's the important thing. This doesn't mean anything. If somebody has 500 meters view range, he's actually spotting me while moving at 380 meters, okay? Not from the 342 if I'm going up against somebody with 440 view range. That's just how it works. If they told you the percentages, then you would know, okay, I have 32% camouflage while moving. It's probably 23% on this tank, but let's just say 30%. That means if they have a 400 meters view range, they're going to spot me at 280. Like, that would be really nice to know, but they don't tell you that, and I wish they did. But this is how I have it set up. We've got 489 meters view range, which is phenomenal. We're cutting into people's camouflage a lot with that kind of view range, and that's why I have it set up like that. And so I just wanted to go through the chisel real quick, because the chisel is a very basic medium. And let's go into the Action 10 now as well, which is also a very, very basic medium tank, and how I have it set up currently. This is a jack of all trades tank. And this is how I have it right now, and I would do this for all of my jack-of-all-trades tanks, probably. I have Born Leader, Run and Gun, Snapshot. This gets my accuracy as good as possible. I have Situation Awareness. I love it. I have Armor Angling, because I'm brawling with it more now, because my camouflage isn't as good, so I expect to get closer to the enemy. Expert Gunner, like I said before. Camouflage Expertise. Radio Jamming, and Comms Expert. I put both of these on. I probably don't need them. I like radio jamming, probably not necessary. And if I really wanted to, I could go on some off-road driving. I could do final stand. If I wanted to ram more, I could do dynamic driving. Like, there's all these choices to go with. This is what I went with because it fits my playstyle. I want to disappear and relocate as quickly as possible. That's why I did it. And as far as my equipment goes, I am going to change it, I think. We have 230 still concealment. If I throw on improved concealment here, sorry, 320, it goes down to 301, and my view range from 512 to 501. So this is actually what I'm going to go with here. I like the more camouflage. 329 while moving concealment. And if I really wanted to be that guy, watch this. If I put on silent driving, look what my moving concealment becomes. It is now 313. It's even lower. We're not going to do that. I prefer to have my vertical stabilizer. I want to hit more shots. I want to be able to brawl. But this camouflage advanced concealment does allow me to get away quicker. And plus, again, when I'm spotted for 3 seconds less, I am disappearing sooner, even though I have less camouflage than I ever did before. And that's okay. And so, again, it's all about adapting. Let's jump into the Manticore now. The Manticore setup, because the Manticore is a sneaky light tank. I do not have gun rammer on this tank. I'm taking full advantage of these new equipment pieces, or should I say these old equipment pieces, and some of the new cruise skills, because they're absolutely disgusting. Let's see what my setup is right now. My still detectability range is 329. That's what it was before the update change. So we were able to still achieve that. However, we do not have the same moving concealment that we used to have, but still 278 moving concealment is insane. I can still get really close to you without being spotted, and I have 546 meters view range while standing still. Emphasis on while standing still, because if I drop my optics or should I say my binocs, let me sell this just so that you can see, my view range is now 455. Now, I have vents, and I don't think vents are necessary. And so I'm debating throwing optics on here as well, or improved concealment. This allows me to retain some of my camouflage. In fact, let's see what it is. So this right now is my moving concealment. It is 278, and this is all science. This is why I'm going through this with you guys. 278. If we throw this on here, our concealment is now 259, from 278 to 259. So we're 20 meters harder to spot with advanced concealment. It does not stack with camo net, so one is active at a time. Okay, so we have 259 meters moving concealment, 533 view range because we don't have vents. Now, that's why I had vents on here. If we decide to go optics on here instead, okay, we're gonna drop binocs just to see what it is. My view range is now 489. So I could have 489 meters view range while moving, and then 530 something with binocular telescope when I'm standing still. I could have both. So I could passive scout and active scout at the same time. I'm not going to do that. I am going to go with the vents because I want that camouflage. I'm realizing now why I had vents on here in the first place. There they are. It is just for that camouflage and that view range. So now my view range standing still is 546. And so that's what I like to do. And then as for my last equipment piece, I have muffle shot. This allows me to shoot things. Basically, if they're 300 meters away and I have camo net up, they're not spotting me. Yes, this means that my DPM is only 1700 and I'm reloading every 13 seconds. It's a long time, but this is how I have decided to set up my Manticore. It is a sneaky, passive scout that gets to put in free damage whenever I feel like it. Well, whenever I'm loaded, I get to put in free damage, basically. Not quickly, but I get to do it safely. And so I'm very happy with how I have my Manticore set up. Now, I'm not going to play all my light tanks like this. And that's what's amazing about this update, is if setting up all my light tanks like that is not competitive. Before it was. You could set up all your light tanks, camouflage, gun handling, DPM, and V-range. Done. You could have it all. It was insane. And frankly, wasn't fair. Every light tank was played exactly the same. Now it's not the case. When we jump into my RHM, which I already have set up, I've gone with an active playstyle. Instead, I have advanced concealment instead of camo net. So my camouflage is the same while moving as it is standing still. 279. It is not as good as my Manticore because I'm a bigger tank. But because I want to be more brawly, more quick with this tank, I have gone with that. In my view range, because I have 420 base view range, I went with optics. So I have 513. But watch this. This is for science. I'm using a lot of my money for this video. But if I drop that, throw this thing on here, and I'm standing still, my view range is 560. And watch this. If I throw vents on here and stop moving, I have 573 meters view range. You cannot get higher than that without last stand and being below 10% hit points. This is 420 base view range, 573 meters view range. You do not get more than that in the game. We are not going with that setup because I'm very happy with my optics and I'm very happy with my gun rammer. Okay, and so because of that, I've got decent view range, decent camouflage. Not the best view range, not the best camouflage, but it's still great. It's great while moving, and I'm very happy with that. I've gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, so I can fight back. And so instead of 1700 DPM like I have in my Manticore, in this thing I have 3046. I'm capitalizing on what makes the tank good: the gun and the view range. And I'm taking advantage of both of those, and I still have some concealment to boot. Very nice light tank right now. My commander for this tank, because a lot of people are going to be questioning, is actually basically the same as the Manticore. I have Born Leader, Situation Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Snapshot, because I'm shooting a lot more, Run and Gun, because I'm shooting a lot more, Green Thumb to disappear in bushes, Comms Expert, Radio Jamming, and Expert Gunner. I love Expert Gunner. I'm throwing it on a lot of my tanks. So that's what I have in the RHM. Let's move on from light tanks now and jump over to heavy tanks. Because heavy tanks are a big subject. I think heavy tanks are very powerful now because they're able to spot light tanks who don't know what they're doing. If a light tank is in a bush, you are not going to see it regardless. That's how it works. But if a light tank is too stupid to use a bush, and just active scouting or passive scouting without a bush, you're going to spot them, and that's fine. You can punish light tanks now for not knowing what they're doing, and I really like that. But let's take a look at the E5, a very popular tank, okay? My commander right now in my E5 is very basic. This is jack of all trades kind of a commander, and I'm very happy with what I can do now. I don't feel like I'm missing out on crew skills because I get to set it up how I want to. We have Born Leader, Snapshot, Run and Gun. Get that gun handling as good as possible. Situation awareness, 6% view range. I put that on everything. Clutch braking, return faster. Off-road driving, we can react quicker. Okay. Now, I don't have a fire extinguisher, so I run fire safety training. 33% decreases chance of internal fire. That's just to the engine. That's not fuel tanks. Fuel tank is a different breed because the fuel tank, when it's destroyed, gets set on fire. That's not the case with an engine. And your engine doesn't need to even be damaged for you to get set on fire. The shell just has to pass through where the engine or transmission is in the tank. And then it rolls to see if you get set on fire, which is a really silly mechanic. I don't like it, but that's why I have fire mechanic. Track mechanic, 25% increase of track repair speed. And comms and expert. Things I'm spotting stay spotted for 3 seconds longer. This helps me dig out those sneaky light tanks if I do spot one. I'm very happy with it. You could drop this. In fact, very easy enough to drop it for armor angling. Take 5% less damage. Why not, right? And so if that's what you want to do, absolutely go for it. I didn't go for it. 5% is not a huge deal, and I want to be able to spot those pesky light tanks and tank destroyers. And so that's why I have it set up the way I do. Now let's jump over to my equipment. So you can see that. Very basic loadout right now. I've got to remember vertical stabilizer vents. And this is the internal one. Reinforced internals. 50% to ammo rack, 50% to fuel tank, 50% to engine durability. I'm actually going to drop vents right now and put on optics. Vents doesn't do too much. It's just 5%. I think I can go without it. Throw on the view range instead. And so now my view range is at 489. I'm very happy with that. My DPM is still 3,269. Very fantastic DPM for a heavy tank. That's why I have it set up like that. Let's go now to the FE215B, and we'll do the IS-7 as well. We'll do all those tanks. FE215B, lots of health, lots of chance for internal module damage. So it's very obvious what I'm going to do on this one. We went Born Leader, Situation Awareness, Run and Gun, Snapshot. So now my gun is laser accurate. This tank does not need a vertical stabilizer, so I didn't go with that. Instead, I went with Run and Gun and Snapshot to make sure I don't need a vertical stabilizer. Track Mechanic, Expert Gunner, Comms Expert, Armor Angling, and Fire Safety Training. This time I did go with the fire safety, the armor angling, and I didn't do that with the last one. But that's because this tank turned so quickly already that I did not go for clutch braking or off-road driving. It gave me more opportunity to do what I wanted. And so that is why I have this tank set up like that. And then if we go to my loadout, we go gun rammer and vents, because I'm not going optics. Vents increases everything. Armor hardening, so I take 5% less damage from weapons, so that adds up to 10% because I have the crew skill, so now I'm taking 10% less damage, which is amazing. And reinforced internals. My ammo rack is stronger, my fuel tank is stronger, and my engine is stronger. You cannot knock out my engine or my fuel tank or my ammo rack with one shot with any tank in the game, meaning you have to put at least 2 shells in if you want to do any significant damage to my internal modules, which is very nice to have. That's why I have it set up like that. And I have 3,454 DPM, 200 more than the E5, which is amazing. And my gun handling is 0.69 while moving as well. Also fantastic, 1.49 seconds aim time. 466 view range without optics on this tank. It is a 410 base view range heavy tank, which is incredible. Last but not least, let's take a look at the IS-7. Show you how I have this tank set up. This one, I did go with vents because of the poor gun handling and the poor DPM. I want to maximize that because this tank is derpy again, like it used to be. Not super derpy, but still derpy, and the DPM is bad, so I want vents for that, specifically, instead of going optics on here, or speed, or anything like that. So equipment-wise, gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, ventilation, and because this tank gets ammo racked so much, reinforced internals. The ammo rack health on your IS-7 is 210 hit points. The alpha damage of your 850 alpha guns in this game on internal modules is 210, meaning if you get hit in the ammo rack by an E4, an E3, a 268, or a WZ-113 GFT, or a Jagdpanzer U-100 or a Death Star with firing AP, it will one-shot ammo rack you. If you throw this piece on 50% more health to your ammo rack, it is now 515. You cannot be ammo racked by any gun in the game. I don't know what the Sturm Tiger's alpha damage to modules is, so that one might still be able to. I don't think it's that high. So I'm willing to say it is impossible with this on for your IS-7 to be one-shot ammo racked. You can still be two-shot ammo racked, and your ammo rack can still be damaged. That hasn't changed, but now you can't be one-shot. That's why I threw it on here, and that's why I have it the way I have it. And so, oh wait, let's go to the commander, and then we'll finish here. Born Leader, this time I needed clutch braking. This tank is a bit sluggish, and off-road driving, give it more ability off-road. Snapshot Smooth Ride, getting that gun handling up as high as I can. Dynamic driving, so I can ram things more. Situation awareness, so I can get past the 445 view range. Fire safety training, so I don't get set on fire since I don't have a fire extinguisher. And track mechanic. These are how I decided to set this tank up. Get it as mobile as possible and as accurate as possible. That's what I went with. And make it survive a bit longer, at least internally, so that we're not getting set on fire or ammo racked, and our tracks are going up a bit faster. And all of these net me a 2700 DPM, 10.86 seconds reload, accuracy during movement 2.59. Remember, the FE215B without vertical stabilizer is 0.69. We're 2.59. That is insane, the difference, and that's why you want to maximize that, and that's why I've maximized it. In fact, now I'm curious, before we move on to tank destroyers, what is my gun handling if I do vertical stabilizer? 0.69 accuracy. With vertical stabilizer, it is 0.57. 0.57 on the move gun handling. Holy moly. That's basically your gun if it were damaged and you're standing still fully aimed. That's how accurate the FE215B is on the move with vertical stabilizer. You don't need it. I'm not using it. I'm selling my tank. I'm just kidding. What did we have on here? We had hardening. All right, we're almost out of money, so we got to be careful here. Let's move on to tank destroyers now, okay? First one we're going to look at is the Stridsvagn, because the Stridsvagn people are complaining about not being good enough anymore because of the moving camouflage. And that is true. With my setup, my moving camouflage is 324. If you're moving, you should be spotted. That's part of the game, okay? If you know what you're doing and you get yourself in a position. And so, all right, let me just talk about moving concealment real quick on tank destroyers. Your tank destroyer should not be invisible while moving, because that allows you to set up anywhere at any time you want. It gives you such a huge advantage. By having it so you don't have much camouflage while moving anymore, now you have to preset up. So you have to use your brain. You have to think. It's not easy mode anymore. Now you have to set up and you have to learn positions. You can't just go anywhere you want, whenever you want. And I like that. Read the map, read the game, read the team, understand where you're going, use bushes, use terrain, use cover, get to position safely. And you will do just fine, because now you have a new piece of equipment, which is absolutely insane on your tank destroyers. Since we're looking at all my stats here, let's now jump into the commander. All right, let's go here. Born Leader, camouflage expertise, green thumb. That's a given. We have situation awareness as well. We have expert gunner. That's amazing. Radio jamming, so I disappear faster. Final stand, so if I take damage, I have even more DPM, more view range, more camouflage, which I got to use in a comp match the other day, which was insane. I was able to shoot people from 230 meters away, and they could not see me. Unbelievable. Track mechanic. So if I get tracked, I get that up faster and can get away faster. Comms expert. I'm spotted 3 seconds less, which is also amazing, so that I'm alive longer. These are amazing skills to have on your Stridsvagn. Then if we go to my equipment, gun rammer for DPM, camo net for standing still, binocular telescope for standing still, and lastly, flash hider. Flash hider has been buffed. I don't know what it did before. Supposedly, your camouflage penalty while shooting was 35% less. That was what it's supposed to be, but it didn't do that. You were getting like 5-6 meters bonus to your camouflage while firing, and that was it. It wasn't worth it. Now, if I fire right now on my Stridsvagn and I have camo net up, and you are 280 meters or more away from me, basically you're not spotting me, even if I'm in the open. Unless you have a super view range, you are not spotting me from 280 meters while I'm firing. Absolutely insane what you can do with your tank destroyers now. They are disgusting how sneaky you can make your tank destroyers. They are sneakier than they ever have been. Standing still. Standing still. They are sneakier than they ever have been before. Not while moving, which is good. Your tank destroyers should not be able to move and shoot at the same time and not get spotted, nor should they be hitting you while doing that. Now they aren't. This is huge and big. It is both a buff and a nerf to tank destroyers, because if you are playing your tank destroyers right, they are better than ever. They are. And if you decide not to adapt, they're gonna feel worse for you. But they're not. They are better. Now, you could drop, if you really wanted to be crazy, you could drop Binocs and throw on silent driving, and now you're even quieter, or now you can actually move around a bit sneakier, but now you don't have the view range that you would have. Or you can even drop gun rammer. Gun rammer is not as good anymore because it only adds 7.5% instead of the 10%. So some tanks I'm not even taking this on, like on my E25. On my E25 I have set up basically exactly the same as this, but instead of gun rammer, I have low noise exhaust, so I can move around the battlefield without getting spotted as well. So my E25 is absolutely nuts right now. And I don't have camo net, I had advanced concealment because the camouflage is already so good. So that's what I've done there. Let's move on now to Death Star. Let's take a look at the Death Star. I don't know if I have this set up. I do have it set up. So Death Star, we went with gun rammer and vents for the gun handling, and I went with camouflage net. And I still have load shell exchanger, so I can swap shells for free. My standing still concealment is 294. That's very nice. But when I fire, I'm gonna get spotted. But if I set up in a position, I can still ambush people because of the camo net, which is very nice. And as for my commander, again, born leader, snapshot. We went camouflage expertise, situation awareness, expert gunner, radio jamming, run and gun, green thumb, and track mechanic. Set it up a bit, it's a hybrid, kind of a heavy tank destroyer hybrid is how I have this set up, which I really like. That's basically what the Death Star is, and this allows me to play how I want to play. And so that's why I have it set up like that. And that is giving us still 2800 DPM. We have a 23.9 seconds reload, basically how it used to be back in the day. Very much more balanced. I wish it had the 1750 alpha back, but 1450 is still a lot. Lastly, we are going to take a look at another tank destroyer many people use. This time, it is the American E4. I don't even think I have this one set up yet. I don't, so we get to set it up here and now, and I'm also going to do this 268, and that's going to be my video. I really wanted to go over crew skills and talk to them with you guys, because a lot of people are complaining a lot, but trust me, this is all good. I promise you this is all good. I have my E4 set up for camouflage. An E4 should not be able... Oh, it is purple. An E4 should not be able to use camouflage the way that you used to. It is a heavy tank. It is basically a better E100. And now that camouflage... camo expertise and all that has been nerfed, I am going to be converting my E4 into a more traditional heavy tank. That's what I'm going to do here with you guys right now. First things first is this commander. Born leader. We already have camouflage expertise. I might change that. We have situation awareness, off-road driving, expert gunner. We're going to get that snapshot moving. We're going to get that run and gun moving. Make this thing a bit more snappy. And now the game is ours. We get to do whatever we want. There's plenty of things to choose from. We can make our turret turn faster. We can turn our tank faster, which I'm tempted. But I think because we're going to go more brawly, I'm going to go track mechanic. And I'm going to go fire safety training, so I don't get sound fire in my tank. That's what I'm going to do. I could drop camouflage, but I'm going to hold on to it just to have it, just because it does improve a little bit, and I want to have that for the case where if I want to be hiding in like some bushes or don't want to get out spotted by the other E4 who's moving. So now my camouflage. Well, we can't tell because I still have advanced concealment, and I don't want advanced concealment. So let's drop that out. We're going to go... What do we want to do with this, actually? We've got lots of choices. We could improve our internals, which sounds tempting. We can go toolbox for our tracks and such. That also sounds tempting. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with ventilation. And for our last piece of equipment, we might go optics. We're going to go optics. There we go. Now we're spawning tanks. And we still have 345 meters steel concealment. If we're moving, it is 384. That's pretty good still. And our view range is 488. We're a pseudo heavy tank with 375 millimeters of APCR penetration and 850 alpha damage. Absolutely crazy. And we still have view range, 488 meters view range, and a bit of camouflage to boot. I'm very happy with the way the E4 is set up right now, and I'm excited to use it. Last but not least, we're going to do, because I have not touched it yet, the Object 268. Advanced loader, whatever this thing is where you swap shells, I love because of the 1100 alpha damage on your HE, so I'm going to keep that on here. But let's really decide how we want to cook people in this tank. Right now, our moving concealment is 331, and our still is 286. We don't have... Oh, everything's 50% off. We can sell one piece of equipment and still equip two. This is going to be tricky. I think I'm going to go with binocular telescope so I can set up and blast people. What's my view range right now? 398 without a commander. Let's throw a commander in here before we decide this, okay? I think that's the right thing to do. Let's find our crew. There he is. Assign him right in here. Bada bing, bada boom. We got 433 view range now. 276 still concealment. That's still really, really good. All right, Commander. What else do we want to do on here? We could go off-road driving. Snapshot increases. 10% increase to accuracy during turret rotation. You have a gun. It doesn't. I don't think you need it on here. I want it on running done because you're turning your tank a lot because of the narrow shell arc. So we'll keep that on here. I think I'm going to go with green thumb so I can disappear in bushes a bit better, for sure. And we're also going to go... We have more health now, so final stand might not be a bad idea. I'm going to hold off on that for now. We're going to get our tracks up faster. And I'm actually going to go with off-road driving. So we're moving around the battlefield a little bit quicker. I like that. I think I'm happy with that. Now we can go to our loadout here. We have 433 view range, and our DPM is 3,600. Wow, that is really good. Our camouflage, 276 standing still, 326 while moving. This one, I am actually going to go with low noise exhaust. I want to scoot around because I'm a bit faster. I want to scoot around with this tank. There we go. Yeah, 298 meters. So I want to be a bit sneaky while moving. I want to be kind of a pseudo sniper, sneaky tank that moves. When I fire, I'm going to get spotted, but I'm going to be able to get away quickly and disappear quicker as well because I have this radio skill, comms expert, -3 seconds to the duration of target and enemy's detection time. That's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. We want this one. Decreases the time spotted by enemies by 3 seconds. That's the one we want. There we go. This is the one we used to have because this one didn't exist. Now we're good to go. I'm happy with that. So now we disappear in 7 seconds after we fire, and if we get spotted after we fire, anyway. And so that is how I have my 268 set up, guys. There is so much to go into, so much to look at. Please do. It's a fun time to go through your garage and do this. The equipment is 50% off right now. Respecking is free right now. People are like, oh, you're pro wargaming. Being pro something in this game doesn't make me pro wargaming. I'm just pro this update. Right now, I'm happy with the update. It's better than it's ever been. I'm playing really well right now because understanding the mechanics of the game is actually useful again. Not just, oh, I throw on equipment and crew skills, done, I win the game. Now it's, oh, I throw on equipment and crew skills, but they only help me in one way. they don't help me in 4 different ways now. Now it's, how do I want to maximize the effectiveness of my tank? Do I want DPM? Do I want gun handling? Do I want view range? Do I want camouflage? You have to choose now, and I really like that. Do you want view range and camouflage while moving, or view range and camouflage while standing still? One is better than the other, but is only active while you're standing still. You know what I mean? So you have all these things, and so I am very happy with the changes. I am enjoying the changes, and I'm having a good time, and I wanted to share that with you guys. A guide, we'll call this, to crew skills and equipment, more so practically, not going through everything, but going through how I am setting up my tanks. Experience is more important than numbers, and so that's why I styled this video this way. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your loadouts. Let me know if you're enjoying the update or you're starting to get used to the update, and I will be seeing you all later. Take care, everyone, and thank you for staying for the long haul. Peace out.